Alrighty, we're live. Hello, hello, hello. Back for more Katawa Shoujo. Feels like it's been longer than usual since I last did it. Even though I know it was like same as usual last Wednesday. Do you want to? Katawa Shoujo is a little awkward with tabbing out. Oh, good evening, my dear. Well, good afternoon, I suppose. It's not evening for. Well, actually, no, it's still morning for you, isn't it? Just about. Okay, just need to wait for OBS to catch up with the game. Come on. No, you want to OBS. Let me see the game. Why are you like this? It's not even capturing the. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay, so last event was. Okay, Emmy had just talked about the track meet. What is. That's weird. My my mouse is being odd, but I don't want to tab out again because that'll cause more problems. But yeah, last time we joined the art club, that was pretty the main thing that happened. I remember we tried drawing. Kisa was going to make me feel bad by complaining about how bad he is at art while being infinitely better than myself. And yeah, we main thing I remember is like Rin pointing out Day-Hole, you're kind of grim looking. You don't. I've never seen you smile. Getting creative. I know the one you're talking about. But anyway, let's get to it. Remember my reading voice. I've been exhausted the books Kenji lent me just a few nights. I've already messed it up. I need to read ahead before I start reading. I've been exhausted the books Kenji lent me in just a few nights. I go back to the library, deeming it a safer alternative for getting my reading fix. I return the books he had stolen while I'm at it to Yuko's delight. I don't tell her where I got them though. That's when we never in Emmy's Road we never really solved that problem for Yuko. It kind of was mentioned and we knew it was Kenji stealing the books, but we just never said anything about it. Wow, you sure read a lot, don't you? Yeah, I guess I do. I mean, I do. Even I think it's weird. I think I might have a reading problem. Maybe I'm a junkie. No, I didn't mean it that way. It's not weird at all. Being addicted to reading is a lot better than being addicted to something else. Yeah, I know. It was a joke. I smile at her reassuringly and drop the books on the counter so Yuko can check them out. I feel tired, so I sit down in a vacant chair in front of her desk. While Yuko goes through the modest pile of reading material I found, I let my gaze wander around the library. At the tables, a pair of girls is chattering in hushed tones rather than working on their homework. Excuse me. The short-haired one notices me looking in their direction and waves at me. When I raise my hand back, they glance at each other and giggle in unison. Is this they weren't actually looking at you? Oh, they weren't actually waving at you? I'm not sure how I should feel about that, so I decided it's a good thing. The one who waved at me has a horrible case of epilepsy. I saw her having an attack a few days ago. It was one of the most disturbing and scary things I've seen in a very long time. Yet, there she is, happily chirping away about whatever, as if she doesn't have a care in the world. You know, this school was really something else. Yuko raises her eyes from the book she was going through, slightly startled. She adjusts her glasses and puts on a nervous, confused smile. What do you mean? I don't really know how to explain it. It's just that everyone's so active, or how should I put it? It's not just a festival thing, I think. Even though I haven't been here that long, but it's everything. People talk more, work harder, and just are more than in any other school I've seen before. I'm struggling for words, but it feels like I'm speaking honestly. This school feels so alive. Okay, a choice already. Well, I'm gonna go with these are new choices, so I'm going to go with my my gut feeling again. I think to me, some things like this are refreshing. I like seeing people enjoying their lives, living life to the fullest, kind of thing. my camera is a little bit tilted. It was bothering me a little bit. Okay. Sure, there were some people like this in my old school too, but not as many, and it feels more intense somehow. I think if I had to pin it down to one thing, that students here really appreciate going to school. I don't think that's a bad thing. Yeah, me neither. Suddenly I realized that I've just been babbling my thoughts to Yuko out of the blue. She's a bit of a jumpy person, so I fear I might have made a bad impression. She's looking at me with what I hope is curiosity rather than horror, so I figure she's alright. Sorry for suddenly talking about weird stuff like this. I didn't mean to trouble you. Oh no, it's not troubling. I'm happy to listen if you feel like talking. It makes me feel a little reliable too. Yuko smiled sweetly and a little bit ironically at that. I respond with a thankful smile of my own. As she pushes the neat stack of books across the counter, I stand up and gather them in my arms. Here you are. Thank you. I guess we'll be meeting each other again. Please, come here anytime. Yuko's kindness is heartwarming. You can count on it. I'll see you later. Oh. Oh, we got one scene before her little transition. Oh. And straight to the track meet. The morning of the track meet greets me with a brilliant sunshine from a crystal blue sky. While I leisurely stroll towards the track, I decide this is a good sign. Of what, I'm not sure. This event isn't as exciting for me as it seems to be for a large portion of the student body. I'm even less interested in watching sports than I am in participating, but cheering for Emmy is a good cause. I'm not expecting this to be any sort of amazing and spectacular experience, but it can't hurt. I'd probably be spending the time reading while cooped up in my room otherwise. When I approach the bleachers, I spot Rin emerging from the crowd right before she spots me. You came? Oh, are they still betting on things like this? Of course. I said I would, didn't I? That doesn't necessarily imply that you had to follow through. Lots of people say things and don't mean them. Well, I don't. Rin shrugs, seemingly bored of our conversation. She turns on her heels and heads back towards the sands. So, are you excited about this? Not really. Me neither. Then why did you come? Why did you? She doesn't reply at all, so I decide not to either. That's how conversations work. We enter the bleachers and Rin nods upwards. Up there. Rin leads the way, and soon we've settled down on an almost empty bench. Oh, we still get to meet Emmy's mum. There's an older woman sitting next to Rin. Someone's mother, I assume. She's got rather long hair done up in a braid. On seeing Rin, she gives her an oddly familiar-seeming grin. Well, this is surprising. I thought you went to get a snack, not a boy. Uh-huh. This is no good? The woman laughs at Rin and shakes her head, apparently unable to find a comeback for that. I know the feeling. Well, I suppose you've always been one to go out for one thing and bring back another. But I'm being rude. I haven't introduced myself. I'm Meiko Ibarozaki. I'm sure that if you know this girl, you've at least met my daughter too. Pleased to meet you. Well, that explains it. She's like a taller, older, more motherly Emmy. Apart from her hair being somewhat darker than her daughter's, there's really no mistaking the resemblance. Sorry, I'm Hisao. Hiso Nakai. Nice to meet you. I'm Rin Tezuka. Mrs. Ibarozaki laughs again. She really does resemble her offspring. I don't know, it always feels weird in contexts like this to use the term offspring. Like, would it not have been more natural to say she really does resemble Emmy or just her daughter? Like, it gives me the same kind of feeling, like when you hear a guy talk about females rather than women. Like, it just rubs you the wrong way a little bit. Just feels like a weird choice of word. And then leans back a little on her seat and raises an eyebrow. So, now that we all know each other, how long have you and Rin been dating? My response consists of silence as my brain suddenly lurches into gear. But just before I can begin to utter a hastily babbled explanation, Emmy's mother bursts into laughter again. You're a blusher, aren't you? I don't know if there's any way to keep my dignity in this situation, so I settle for a mumbled response. We're not... Oh, I know, but it's funny to watch you squirm. I'm sorry. We're giving old women her amusements. She chuckles again to herself. Part of me does wonder, like, is this... I kind of don't want to skip through it. Though I know it won't let me, like, if there's new dialogue, it will stop. But I'm curious about this scene. Because last time we were here, like, we were, like, genuinely invested in Emmy at that point. Like, we'd been running with her. And kind of, you know... Like, I'm particularly curious, like, will we even notice, like, the little stumble she does at the end? Like, as we haven't been spending time with her, like, will we lack that perception? Old woman? She sure doesn't look that old to me. I suppose I can let it go. Oh, how kind of you. It's starting. I direct my attention to the track, where they're preparing for the first sprint. Looks like the 400-meter dash. My eyes scan the runners before finding Emmy. She's smiling, with an almost cocky look on her face. The starter raises his pistol. Emmy explodes off the block, disappearing from the starting line in a blur. It's amazing. Even as the other sprinters converge on the lanes closest to the inside lane, Emmy surges to the front of the pack. By the time she rounds the final turn, a few of the other runners have caught up with her. But she puts on a final burst of speed that leaves them at least a half second behind. Mrs. Ibarazaki whoops and shouts, applauding wildly, and generally looking like any other parent cheering on their child. Emmy bounds off the track, looking pleased with herself. I cheer right along with the rest of them. The announcer, sounding suspiciously like Misha, gleefully gives the results. I think she's gotten faster since the last time. That was incredible. Mrs. Ibarazaki grins proudly. Emmy's a heck of a runner. We fall silent as the next event prepares to start. I'm surprised to see Emmy striding out onto the track again. Wait, didn't she just run? Emmy's mother nods. Oh yes, but she runs multiple events for the team, especially the sprints. It's a lot of running, but Emmy can handle it. From the looks of things, she's right. Emmy doesn't appear to be tired, as if she hadn't run the previous event at all. If not for the sweat visible on her shirt, you'd never know. Which event is this? It's the 200-meter dash. She'll do this one, the 100-meter, and the relay. I see. Once again the pistol sounds, and once again Emmy flies off the block. A thumping sound draws my attention away from the race. It's Rin's foot. She seems completely absorbed in the race. Emmy's mother cheers again, and I assume that the race is over. Sprints don't seem to me like they'd take very long to complete. Your foot. Your foot was bouncing on the bleachers. Oh. You seem pretty into this stuff. I'm surprised. I thought you said this wouldn't be exciting. I suppose you're right. It's not that interesting. But I'm watching Emmy, not the sport. I don't follow. Emmy's the most Emmy when she runs. You don't get to see Emmy at her Emmyest very often. But here you can. See? She directs my attention toward the track again, where the 100-meter dash is about to start. I watch Emmy closely. As she gets onto the starter blocks, her whole body seems to relax, but it's a false relaxation. I can see that she's actually like a coiled spring. As the starter tells everyone to get set, her head snaps up and her eyes narrow slightly. Her mouth curls upwards in what could be a grin and could be a growl. When the pistol goes off, it's as if she's been unleashed from a cage. Like she was always moving at this blinding speed, but we just couldn't see it happening until the starter's pistol dispelled the illusion of motionlessness. As soon as she crossed the finish line, the fierce look was replaced by her normal grin. The conquering general returning to his farm. Amazing. She's really amazing. I've never seen someone move that fast. Oh, well, don't look at me. I'm far too relaxed to run that fast. No, I think Emmy's prowess all came from her father's side. At the mention of Emmy's father, Mrs. Ibarazaki looks wistful, almost sad. He got her into running, you know. Really? I didn't know that. I leave it at that and don't say anything for a little while. I get the feeling this is something personal I shouldn't ask about. A beeping noise suddenly emanates from Mrs. Ibarazaki's pocket. Reaching into it, she pulls out a cell phone and looks at it. Honestly, text messages? What is he, 16? Oh, nothing. I've got to go meet up with a friend of mine. Will you tell Emmy that I'm very proud of her? That I'll call her later tonight. Of course. Nope. While waiting for the relay to start, I peer at Rin. She seems uninterested in her surroundings, myself included. That remark she made before is still stuck in my head. Emmy's the most Emmy when she runs. It does make sense now that I think about it. After seeing her run now, I can believe that Emmy gives her all on the track. Sports are more than a hobby or even a competition to her. They're a defining aspect of her life. What about Rin then? Does she feel the same way about art? Considering the persistence she displayed before the festival, I could easily believe it. Did I see Rin at her most Rin when she was painting the mural? The relay's about to begin, but I don't see Emmy anywhere. I thought Emmy ran the relay. She runs anchor, so she won't be running for a while yet. Ah. Did you see it? Huh? Emmy at her Emmyest. Maybe. Maybe this time. The race begins and I cheer Emmy's teammates along as they pass the baton. Finally, I see Emmy sprinting onto the track to take the final handoff. Once again, I'm taken aback by how graceful she looks when she runs. It really is beautiful. The look of determination and fearlessness in her face only adds to the picture. Emmy at her Emmyest, I suppose. Emmy flies across the finishing line with a great leap, just barely ahead of the next runners, but still in first. Well, let's go down. Got a crown to victor. See if you can find a laurel branch. That's not going to be easy. Rin shrugs. At least we tried. Did we? This does feel like it's mostly going the same so far. Emmy is surrounded by her teammates, all of them congratulating her on the run. Excuse me? Rin seems to be waiting for Emmy to notice she's arrived. It doesn't seem her style to draw attention to herself, or to emote beyond shrugging. Being more impatient than Rin, I wave to Emmy in her stead. She looks up and grins happily at us. Hey! You showed up! We would have brought you a crown of laurels, but Esau didn't find one. Neither did you. It wasn't my job to look. When did we assign jobs? When I said, see if you can find a laurel branch. Try to keep up. I shrug. I guess Rin's rubbing off on me. Seems it's my fault after all, Emmy. Emmy laughs at Rin and me. It's okay. I'm sure you'll make it up to me somehow. Sure. Good. So, how'd I look? Okay, so yeah, it has just clicked me. Yeah, we didn't notice, like, Emmy's, like, her little limp at the end. Very impressive. Emmy seems pleased with this assessment. I don't mention how much more impressive her performance is given her lack of legs. I figure she knows that already. Besides, it seems like it would take away from her efforts somehow. Great to hear. I was a little worried that I looked a little slow on the relay. Excuse me? But I guess I did fine, huh? Emmy giggles and then seems to remember something. Oh, before I forget, Rin and I are going to do something next Sunday as a post-track meet celebration. You should come along. Normally we do it the day after, but since today is Sunday, I've got homework and class and all that stuff to take care of. Oh, sure. I'd love to. Great. It's a promise then. Oh, right. Your mum wanted to say she's proud of you. She'll call you later tonight. I thought I saw her in the stands. I'm glad she made it. Hey, Emmy. You're going to miss the medal ceremony. Oh, yeah. Thanks. She turns to Rin and myself. You don't have to stick around for this part. It takes forever. Besides, you should get cracking on your homework now if you don't want to be up late, Hisao. Emmy skips back to her teammates, leaving me and Rin by ourselves. Neither of us have the slightest interest in the post-competition ceremonies, so we silently get away and back to the quad. Rin yawns without even trying to restrain herself and shuffles her feet around restlessly. You're like way ahead of you for the narrative? Well, yeah, I did miss a stream on Monday, sure, just because my brain was fried from the lack of sleep. So I'm not surprised you've gotten quite a bit further ahead. I was sleepy. Oh, I'm so glad that it's cooled down a bit. Last week was not a pleasant week. It just makes it safe for me to watch. Okay, that's fair. Was I starting to catch up to where you were before I missed the stream? I feel awkward, but less so than if I was with someone else. Still, I'm left hanging, not knowing what I should say next. Emmy was great, wasn't she? She was great. I am very jealous of her. Why? Like I said, don't you think it's great to be able to really be yourself? It sounds weird coming from Rin. I don't think you, of all people, should have trouble finding a way to express yourself. Don't you have your paintings? She turns to look at me. For the first time, I see in her eyes this strange, hollow expression that I think must be unique to her. No, you see, the problem is that I'm not really sure who I am. Oh, okay. Yeah, that was the problem I thought from like the little intro cutscene we got when we started Rin's Route. I thought like who she is something kind of like that's very abstract and she's not sure of. So I'm guessing this is setting up the main what's it called? The main struggle that Rin's trying to overcome. Oh, we're just ending there. Today's art club meeting is currently on hold while everyone waits for Nomiya to show up. I take this time to try and explain my theory about Yamaguta-rin. I've tried to figure out what exactly about the school feels so special to me. That concept I unsuccessfully tried to explain to Yuko the other day. It's still difficult, but the track meet and the time I've spent observing my fellow students have helped my ideas mature a little. Have you noticed that people talk all the time? I can't really explain it, but once again, as I try to explain my observation, I'm struggling for words. The student body is heavily cliched, and I'm only now beginning to make sense of the intricate grouping and popularity networks. And yet, the feeling of being a part of a group is stronger here than I remember it being in my old schools. I've gotta go. Yep, you go get your food, my dear. I hope it's a good one. I'm trying to say that this school isn't like other schools, or at least the students aren't, even after discounting the obvious. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what you mean. Oh, well, whatever then. I want to pursue the issue, but at that point, Nomiya arrives. The teacher is wiping sweat from his forehead with a handkerchief and breathing rather heavily. He quickly glances over the room, then settles down a bit. Hello. Apologies for being late. Is everyone present? Good. I must confess I haven't really planned anything for today, as I've been extremely busy lately. But I'm sure we can come up with something entertaining. Anyone here have any suggestions? I was thinking we could have a discussion circle, since we haven't had one in a while. I at least found the last one magnificently enjoyable. There are some murmurs here and there, but nobody raises their voice in support of or against Nomiya. We could delve into various movements of art. Or does someone have a good topic in mind? Come on, throw it out there. Doesn't matter if it's silly or odd. We can always cook up something interesting. Nobody seems to be brave enough to make such a suggestion. As the awkward silence refuses to be broken, I lift my hand in the air. Oh, our newest friend seems to have something on his mind. Speak up, my boy, speak up. Well, I don't know about anyone else, but I've always wondered why art exists in the first place. My voice trails off. A silence sets in the room, and nobody makes a follow-up on my meek suggestion. Then the teacher bursts in laughter. Oh, excellent! Very good indeed. Right out of the gate with the big one, huh? Fabulous! Chuckling, he shifts some papers around on his desk for a few moments. When he's done, he appears to have made some sort of decision. Very well then, let's run with this and see where it gets us, shall we? Oh my, even an old fogey like me gets excited when such delicious enthusiasm is present. Oh my, indeed. What's with the tongue sticking out? I didn't like that expression. Let me gather my thoughts a moment so I can figure out a good starting point for everyone. For some reason, the teacher seems to be almost literally bursting with excitement. He scribbles a few things down on a loose sheet of paper, then cleans his glasses with the handkerchief. He strikes a pose, then freezes for an overly dramatic, artistic pause that spans what must be half a minute. That is, like, well into awkward silence territory. It's so quiet I could hear a pin drop. First, let's come up with a few questions that we want answered, such as, what is art? And why does art exist? Anyone have any questions that might be related? The boy with sunglasses pipes up almost immediately. His voice is soft and quiet, and I have a hard time making out what he says. What defines an artist? After him, another question comes up. If I fill a cardboard box with water and call it art, is it art? Everyone laughs at that, even the teacher. Great! Wonderful! All of these! Let me start by saying that this is not a clear-cut issue by any means, and as such, I'm not going to give any answers to you. I'm only going to speak from my own perspective. Scholars have argued about these sorts of questions since time immemorial, and there has never really been a broadly applicable consensus reached. There are, however, some qualities that most tend to generally agree upon. Hopefully you all should find these acceptable as well. In short, art defines itself. It simply cannot be contained to a definition from the outside, since the boundaries of art expand and contract from forces within. Every day, someone somewhere comes up with something completely outrageous that challenges any and all preconceptions. The core reason for this is that rather than the rational side of the mind, art appeals to the intuition, the instinct, the primal. You would find it very hard to explain why exactly it is that you enjoy some particular style or piece, no? That is true. That is... I feel like it's exacerbated by being autistic, but I always hate being asked the question why do you like this? And it's so hard to put into words what is it I enjoy about it? He doesn't wait for a response before continuing. This is exactly why. So, art is this sort of wild, uncontrollable thing that lurks somewhere deep in our subconscious. Now, why does it exist? Nomiya apparently expects someone to pipe up with a guess, but as nobody dares to interrupt his inspired speech, he continues. It was a trick question. You see, art also validates itself. Generally speaking, you might say that art exists for no other purpose than itself. It's something that exists merely to leave a mark in history. It's the defiance of a mortal against a face of darkness, as was once said. Art is truly the proof of our existence. You all should know that human culture and civilization are tightly tied to the existence of art. And what about artists? What drives a man to dedicate his life to a thing so fickle and mysterious that it even defies definition? There are as many answers for this as there are artists. But if I had to put it into words, an artist doesn't make art because he can, but because he must. Nomiya takes a pause and his gaze sweeps over his audience, eyes flaring with passion. It is obvious that art touches the very soul of each and every human being in one way or another. So, if you are given a chance to connect with your fellow man in such a fundamental way, how could you not? There is a poem I'm very much fond of, and I shall recite the most well-known part of it to you now. I feel that, for me personally, of all possible things, it captures best the essence of what it means to be an artist. Nomiya leans against the desk as he clears his throat in preparation. Looking at some distant place, he utters the words in the heavy afternoon air with his soft basso voice. To see a world in a grain of sand, and a heaven in a wildflower. Hold infinity in the palm of your hand, and eternity in an hour. There's a solemn and unbelievably awkward silence after he finishes reciting the short fragment. Nobody dares speak a word. Nomiya clears his throat again. To be an artist is to see the world in a grain of sand. You see, dear children, without art, there would not be much to live for in this world. It is a most profound thing. He is clearly touched by this notion. I almost expect to see a lone tear rolling down his rough cheek, but it never comes. I turn to Rin and whisper to her. So, how is this a discussion circle? She shrugs nonchalantly back at me. The previous ones were the same. To his credit, Nomiya does try to get some debate going, but the club seems to be reluctant to comply. I feel a bit guilty about opening my mouth. Maybe we would have been spared from this. What do you mean spared by it? See, this is the kind of... I love teachers like this who genuinely have a passion for the subject they're teaching. And I always feel I've learned more from teachers who do have this kind of attitude. Because, I don't know, enthusiasm is contagious, I feel. If you're with someone who, loves doing something, it's so much easier to kind of get into it. As the meeting comes to a close, I realize we haven't once touched any paint or pens today, and I feel somewhat disappointed. Nomiya suddenly appears next to us. He seems to still fired up from the speech he delivered. His cologne smells musky and saccharine at the same time, giving me an instant headache, even though I'm not sensitive to perfumes. He's looking at Rin like a hungry wolf. Jessica, do you remember Mrs. Saionji who visited us at the festival? Speaking from experience? I am speaking from... Is this about the enthusiastic teacher thing? So yeah, I always remember, I really didn't like learning French in school, but there were a couple of years where we had a French teacher who was really, really into France. And learning under her, just, it made... I suddenly kind of, it clicked. This is... I get it. I get why this language is interesting. And then, of course, she was, that in love with France, that she moved to France. And we got another teacher who did not have that same passion, and my interest in French just plummeted. I think so. I'm going to tell you something amazing. The thing is, she's a very well-known gallerist around here. It turns out I might be able to get her to consider having some of your work put on display. He ends his sentence with a dramatic gesture. It seems he's expecting Rin to show some sort of joyous, shocked reaction at such grand news, but she just stares at him blankly. Magnificent, isn't it? This could be a real chance for us to get ahead, girl. But... Now, I know what you're about to say. Yes, it wouldn't be a simple affair, but I think this is an absolutely fantastic opportunity. Frankly, I wouldn't be surprised at all if we even made it big. This could be the first step. And then, when the word is out, we strike while the iron is hot. Right, Nakai? Yeah, it does sound pretty great. If you're into that kind of thing. See, we should definitely not let this one pass. Am I right? I don't really... Rin seems to be troubled for some reason. I can't figure out why. What Nomiya is saying does indeed sound like a possibly great thing. I wonder if it's... Well, one is kind of, I suppose, he is being a little pushy about it. But as well, I wonder if it's for Rin, not knowing... for having that feeling of not knowing who she is. That... that does give her kind of a uncertainty about, what her art means. Because no, with the mural, a lot of it is kind of it doesn't really have a meaning. It's just, it is what it is. And so, especially after a speech like that, I could almost imagine feeling guilty that kind of someone's so passionate about it. And talking about how it's about leaving an imprint, leaving something behind, and Rin seems to do it just for the sake of doing it. I don't know. Maybe I should just let the game, let the story tell me what's going on. So, what do you think? Rin looks up to her teacher's glowing face, then back down at her desk. I'll think about it. Nomiya is at least taken slightly aback by Rin's lack of superlative delight. Then he smiles widely at her and gently pats her head. Good girl. The club meeting is finally over, and as I lazily collect my things and help clean up, I start feeling exhausted for some reason. There isn't much to do, however, so it's over quickly. You should be still... It does bother me a little bit that spending this time with Rin is You just completely neglect your morning runs, because those morning runs would still be good for you to do, Hisao. Maybe you don't need to get as invested in them as in Emmy's route, but they'd still help. I catch up to Rin, who left the clubroom just a moment earlier. So we're walking down the stairs to the ground floor while I try to go over Nomiya's passionate speech about art, and Rin seems to be lost in thought. Not an unusual state for her, I've learned, but something about her expression makes me feel uneasy. Penny for your thoughts? That'd be too cheap. Not sure if you've gotten to that part yet, but Rin does explain what her painting. I don't think I've gotten to that point yet. Because the only one we've really asked about is the mural. You're just overpricing your thoughts. I wouldn't be able to sell them anyway. I'm not sure what I'm thinking yet. That'd be fraud too. Like stealing a candy from a baby. That's theft, not fraud. I have to think about what I think. That is one of the, like, one statement just comes out of somewhere, and that is like I understand that like instantly and so much. I have to think about what I'm thinking about. Oh. Like I know there's things going on in my brain, but it's like someone's asking like, "What's on your mind?" And I have to kind of process like, what is on my mind? What am I actually thinking about? No, I think there was a reason that Rin was probably like the character I was most drawn to the first time around. If I just hadn't, if I'd known the choices that would get me on Rin's route and not accidentally ended up on Emmy's. Is this about what the teacher said? Getting your work put on display and all that? He's definitely neurodivergent. Yeah, it's. I'm always kind of just nervous about like just assuming that about someone. I think it's outright said, but she has me. Yeah, that's. I do sit on the fence of kind of. I'm not necessarily comfortable diagnosing people. I know that Rin's a fictional character in the first place, so it's probably not as bad, but. Yeah, she definitely does get. What is it? Fit the bill. She doesn't answer, but stomps in her tracks as we reach the lobby. We're the only people around, so it's very quiet. Footsteps echo from a few floors up as someone hurries along the hallway. I think I'm going to go somewhere elsewhere. I think she really is troubled. Want company? I can't promise much help after thinking, but it's not like I have much else to do. And I'm supposed to do some light exercise. If you like. Rin leads me outside, to the wall behind the dormitories. There's a small back gate there, made from the same wrought iron as the main gate. It leads to the shadowy woodland park behind the school. The gate is rusty, as if it hasn't seen much use. However, it sits open, so we pass through. It's not forbidden for students to leave the grounds, but somehow I feel a little uneasy. I think she leans towards ADHD since you caught hints about. Hmm. Yeah, that's particularly like always something like quite hard to figure out because at times the traits conflict with one another or like blend into one another. But yeah, I'll see if my opinion like how what my thoughts are like further on down because I know we haven't seen as much of Rin as we're going to. A path leads deeper into the forest. Tall Zelkova and maple trees rustle in the wind, their canopies creating patches of chill air hanging into places where the shadows fall. The forest smells strongly of earth. I almost feel cold, even though the midsummer day is as hot as ever. Rin trudges ahead like a sleepwalker, sure-footed but with no apparent destination in mind. Her thoughts seem to be somewhere else. I follow a few steps behind, taking more care to watch where my feet land. The path follows the land uphill at a low angle, sometimes making little detours downhill before climbing back upward. The muted brown and grey trunks line the path on both sides, peppered with ferns and other undergrowth. After a little while, I start getting worried. The path is still wide and clear, so there's no chance of getting lost, but it doesn't look like we have any particular destination. There's nothing wrong with a bit of aimless wandering around, but I don't want to go so far that I get too tired to walk back. I'm starting to get a little winded and my legs feel heavy. I want to stop and get a chance to catch my breath and rest my legs, but Rin keeps on going. Where are we going? Or are we going anywhere at all? Worry tree. I see. So what exactly is the worry tree? It's just a tree. Like this. She stops in front of a particularly large maple that might or might not be the worry tree. Its lush green leaves sway lightly in the breeze, blowing through the small clearing we entered. Noses itchy. I guessed as much. There are people who believe that you must come here to wallow in misery, if you are miserable. Only by people, I mean me, and the tree isn't really called anything. So, if you're miserable, you talk to a tree about it? No? What? You can't talk to trees. What do you think I am? Crazy? No, I didn't mean it like that. Or maybe you talk to trees. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that you're crazy. Even though you probably are if you talk to trees. I wouldn't recommend it in either case. People will think you're a weird person. No, I just forget it. She looks mildly confused, for which I don't blame her at all. She tilts her head a little to the side, expression melting back to her usual one. Alright. I'm good at forgetting things. So, why are we here? Are you miserable then? I can't read the expression she makes. I hate how bad I am at interpreting Rin's mood. She doesn't answer right away, as if she herself isn't quite certain of her own mood. The blank stare changes into a more difficult expression as she shuffles her weight around. Finally, coming to a conclusion, Rin shrugs her shoulders. I've grown to seriously dislike that gesture. It doesn't mean anything. Oh, to be fair, Rin is a little limited with what gestures she can make, Hisao. You're gonna have to cut her some slack. Maybe. I just feel kind of like I'm sinking underwater. I don't know what I should do. I don't know where I should go, that's all. Maybe it's not a big deal, but I thought walking might help. Kind of like if I go somewhere I would know where I should go. I don't really know if it did. It really would have made sense if walking had helped us to decide where to go. So, you don't want to try to get an expedition, or an exhibition, or rather, you don't know if you do? Can't decide? Rin doesn't say anything for a while, arranging her thoughts in silence. The quiet is broken by birdsong from somewhere in the treetops, followed by rustling leaves as the birds take flight. Maybe. I'm not sure if I can have a thing like that. So far, I've only painted for myself. I don't think I could have my things on display the way I am now. This me couldn't do it. Her reason sounds like a weak excuse. I make my trademark frown, but she doesn't notice it. I mean, I don't think that's a weak excuse. Like, I think it's fair enough. Like, if you're if your art is for you, like if it's more your own, like you're putting your own thoughts just on, like maybe just even just expressing them to yourself through another medium. No, I make it. That's fair enough. That it's like maybe not something you want to share with other people, or just something you don't think. It's just not something for other people to see. I don't get it. The teacher certainly thinks you could. I don't think he'd suggested otherwise. It sounds like he's calling in favors from his friends, too. Sort of took it up because she doesn't know herself, she doesn't know what she really wants. Yeah, could be that. I know. He's really done a lot for me, but this might be too much. Becoming someone who can do it might be pretty hard. Maybe I couldn't do it at all. He can't do it for me, and if I let him try, I just sink deeper and deeper. Rin stands in front of the large maple and turns away from me. I want to close the few feet of distance between us, and I don't know. My irritation is suddenly gone, and I start feeling sympathetic to her. I feel this is always something you need to be careful about saying, is that I know exactly how you feel, because I feel like in 99.9% of cases you don't know exactly how someone else feels. Already having a midlife crisis in her teen years. So, I mean, I'm not one to say anything about. I don't remember how to spell that. Crisis. I think you think you second time. I think you got it right. Or did it? Was it the first time? Looking at them now, my brain is telling me that both of those are wrong, but I'm like 90% certain that the bottom is. I have no. My brain is not. Crisis. Crises. Are crisis and crises, like, is the plural spelled the same? I don't. My brain is not working with me on that one. I know exactly how you feel. Well, maybe I don't, but still. Okay. At least he's like immediately clarifies that. Okay, maybe I don't. Think the first one. Okay, that quite. Yeah, that sounds like it might be right. The first one's plural. Crises and crisis. I think I haven't felt like I was actually in control of my own life this whole year. I'm just helplessly going along with the flow. Like, coming here to this school. I didn't really choose it myself, and I certainly didn't choose this time of my life to learn that I have this condition. I still can't casually say the word aloud. It's like, yeah, it's exactly like being underwater. Like I can't even breathe. Rin turns to face me again, a sad expression on her face. Is that why you look so sad all the time? I don't want to look sad like you. Do I look to you like you look to me? I don't look sad all the time. I just don't know what I should be feeling. What kind of face I should be making. Me neither. Do I look sad now? Not really. You look like you always do, I think. But I'm sinking. I should try to float up like a rubber duck. Quack, quack, all yellow and creepy. I have to think for a few seconds about which direction I should pursue in this conversation. Then I realize it doesn't matter. You think rubber ducks are creepy? You don't? I think they look very creepy. Everything that has eyes but isn't alive is very disturbing. like rubber ducks and reflections in mirrors. She plops down on the forest bed, leaning on the maple she named the worry tree. After wondering what to do for a minute, I sit down too, 3 feet apart from her. I'm trying to remember if I know what that's from. I feel I've heard that before, but I don't remember the origin of that. Oh, to be fair, yeah, fake things having eyes I'm fine with, but there's something about dead eyes that just really Sesame Street early. Okay. Yeah, I probably have heard it somewhere, but I've never watched. Like Sesame Street wasn't one of my kids shows I watched. But yeah, for me it's dead eyes. Like I can't, or like walking past like fishmongers and like just seeing the fish laid out there with the eyes, and I just something about that. Just my brain does not like that. Oh, the forest envelops us in its embrace, and its stillness falls upon the two of us. Eyes and places. Yeah, that kind of a. It's yeah, things that shouldn't have eyes in the first place, or yeah, just to be fair, eyes in general. Like unless an eye is either fake or living and where it's supposed to be. I think it's generally as well like when there's a lot of eyes on something, like when you're kind of like surrounded by them. We sit there without speaking for a long while. I can literally feel time passing. Patches of sunlight litter a small clearing in a pattern that echoes the maple canopies. One of them falls directly on me, warming me all the way to the bone. I wonder what I could do for myself, and maybe for Rin. For now, I just keep watching her from this distance. Sometimes she cranes her neck all the way back, so much that it looks almost painful, and stares up at a small patch of sky visible past the canopy of the worry tree. Sometimes she just stares blankly ahead, as if seeing something just beyond her reach. She keeps whispering to herself, but so quietly that I can't hear her, even though I'm sitting right next to her. I only see her lips moving, like she was in the middle of a distant dream. I realize that right now I no longer feel any of the intense loneliness I feel at night, just before falling asleep. I might be more like Rin than I thought. I can either give up and stay submerged under the weight of all that crap in my life, or try to change myself for the better. Her decision is different, yet the same. And unlike her, I know for sure that I can't stay like this forever. I have to change. Oh, okay. This is an interesting choice. See, I feel kind of the right choice, and the one I'm probably going to go with is I want to be more like Rin. But to be fair, to be fair, that feels almost also like just a case of though. I want to be more like the person who is, also struggling like this. Rin might not like that when she's feeling. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Is that oh, I will save because I should be saving when decisions come up. I'm gonna I'm gonna go with the top response, I think. Emmy probably has done it. She's so happy and energetic. A runner girl without legs. If anyone has beaten a disability, it must be her. It makes me feel a little bit better too, and I lean back against a tree, breathing out deeply, as if for the first time in a long time. Oh. We stay that way in the small clearing until the angle of the sun changes and the chilly shadows deepen. No longer warm where we sit, we leave the forest, returning along the same path we took coming in. It doesn't seem like Rin has come to a decision. I wonder if it was a bad idea for me to come along. It's alright. I don't mind. I'm sure the trees and dirt and rocks won't mind either. Did you mind? It's a good point that Emmy isn't someone whose personal problems don't. It's a good point. Emmy isn't someone whose personal problems don't involve her. Think you. Okay, was yeah. Okay, that's what I was confused. I was trying to make sure I was understanding that correctly. But yeah. Emmy's problems like they're not about her disability, but they are like there's a connection there. No, not at all. I think it helped me too. While we walk back towards the dormitories, the sky is changing to a deep ultramarine. The first summer stars twinkle softly from between spots in the canopy, barely visible, like tiny fireflies. Emmy is somebody's problem, so. Okay, yeah, I kind of thought that was what you meant, but I wasn't quite sure. I become very self-conscious about Rin's presence. I haven't thought much about girls since things fell apart with Uenago. This is kind of the same situation as Den, but to be honest, I don't think it really counts for much. Not with Rin. And yet, it feels good walking next to her, even if it isn't anything more than this. Still in the low energy. Oh, my poor dear. I need to stop keeping you up so late at night. At first, I think Rin agitated me quite a bit with her unpredictable behaviour, but recently I feel I haven't had to be on my toes so much. I've managed to let myself go a little. It makes me feel satisfied, even though ultimately I think it's more thanks to Rin than myself. She seems to be disinterested in a huge number of things, but something in her makes me try harder than I normally would. It's not that I want to impress her. I think that truly impressing Rin would take near superhuman effort just because of how she is. Instead, it's because there's this relentless feeling inside of me that I shouldn't let Rin down. Just as much as what you hyperfixate on. Fair, fair. But still, I know that you have work in the morning, so I should also be keeping an eye on the time. Though you're regularly kind of giving me little reminders when I'm getting distracted and should be thinking of heading to sleep. Uh, it's really weird. I wonder why I started thinking like that. I don't even know what sort of expectations she has about pretty much anything. So how could I let her down? Rin has this unassuming air around her, and she doesn't really talk about stuff very often. Even today's confession of her self-doubt caught me a little bit off guard. I feel like I want to talk more with her. The realization suddenly dawns on me that Rin is basically the only person I talk to nowadays, apart from whatever I have to endure from Shizune, Misha, or Kenji. I feel slightly depressed. In front of the dormitories, as if summoned by my dark thoughts, we run into Kenji himself. Kenji outside? It feels very odd seeing him outside, breathing fresh outdoor air. At least it's already dusk. I partially expect Kenji would disintegrate upon direct exposure to the sun. Kenji himself seems very insecure as well, standing around looking like he's waiting for something, but doesn't know himself what it might be. He's touching grass. Hey, Kenji. What are you doing? Hello. Oh no. He has to interact with a woman. What'll he do? Who are you? Oh. You ready for this? What? Oh boy. It's me, Hisao. I'm not sure if you know Tezuka from class 3-4. From his face, I can see that not only he doesn't know Rin, he also can't see her from this short distance. Oh, sup dudes? Kenji sticks his hand enthusiastically forward, almost straight into Rin's stomach. Rin looks at his outstretched hand in confusion until Kenji clears his throat and retracts the hand. There is something almost cool that he manages to do with social awkwardness. It's not like I'm no suave man on the planet, but I don't think I'll ever be able to even approach Kenji's level. I think I respect Kenji a little bit more. Only a little bit. So you're waiting for someone? He leans closer and lowers his voice to an agitated whisper. I see his facial muscles twitching. Come on, man. You know I can't talk about stuff here in public. They might be listening. Mistaking her for a guy because of short hair and clothes. You'd think the voice would be more of a giveaway for him, because it feels like he does rely more on voice sometimes. Or I suppose maybe like if Rin does like actually have like kind of a lower mumbly voice, maybe it's less distinct. I'm gonna have to go pick some stuff up from somewhere. I don't want those snooping student council hacks to get on my case. How do you know Rin doesn't have a deep voice? I suppose I don't know that. Oh. Just doesn't strike me as that kind of as someone with a deep voice. Also, I don't trust your friend. Nothing personal. You sure he's trustworthy? I briefly considered telling Kenji about Rin's gender, but as it might have been badly for one or both of them, I decide against it. Yeah, I'm sure. He turns from me to Rin, and I immediately get the feeling that I have to prevent them from talking to each other with whatever means necessary. However, there is little I can do now apart from physical violence. In that case, would you be interested in knowing about the worst threat to mankind since they invented vegetarianism? Oh boy, he doesn't like... Of course he wouldn't like vegetarians either. He sounds like a vacuum cleaner salesman. I thought it was Sunday. I see you're not in the know. Yeah, man. I'm talking about man-eating cows here. Very few people know what I know, so I'm not surprised. We can't talk here. If you'd like a pamphlet, come to my room after curfew on Mondays or Wednesdays. He suddenly reaches to his pocket and draws out a ballpoint pen and what looks like a convenience store receipt. Kenji furiously scribbles on the scrap of paper, then thrusts it towards Rin. Here's the password. Memorize it, then eradicate any trace of this document. Eat it, burn it, dissolve it in acid, whatever. I take the receipt from Kenji as Rin is unable to do so and glance at it. It's indeed a receipt, apparently for 2 rice balls and 5 boxes of matches. I hope he is not planning to burn anything down. On the other side is written just one word. Honey muffin. Oh, okay. That's where the honey muffin came from. I was a little... That didn't sound... That's not one of your normal nicknames for me. So, I show it to Rin too, but she shows no reaction. Thank you. Yo, Hisao, you still in that club? The Club of Dark Arts? Fine art. Anyway, yeah, actually just had a meeting today. Still got your wits about you? No shady mind tricks going on? Nothing personal, man, but I have to be on top of things. Can't get caught with my pants down. Speaking of which, you should really take showers a bit later. Gotta respect that personal space. Nothing personal. Kenji looks around as if he heard something, and then straightens his jacket. Okay, I gotta go scoot now before it gets too late. Later, dudes. Good luck. Kenji takes off rapidly towards the main gate. Rin looks after him, frowning. We watch after Kenji's diminishing figure in silence. What's wrong with him? Technically speaking, I think he's legally blind. Oh, I see. I don't quite know if that's what Rin was asking, but... Oh. The letter. And getting straight to it, no... No prelude or kind of, hey, there's something delivered to you. That's where you got high muffin from. Honey is best on crumpets. I can immediately tell from the envelope that it's not about official matters of any sort. Someone actually wrote me an old-fashioned, handwritten paper letter. Who bothers doing something like that in this day and age anyway? Yet, as unlikely as the prospect of receiving one sounds, there is definitely a letter lying on my desk. The classes for the day are over. Still feeling pretty full from the big lunch that I had unexpectedly eaten at the cafeteria, I returned to my dorm, planning on finishing my homework and probably skipping dinner, or at least just eating light. I feel like I need to eat less than I used to. Maybe I don't use that much energy now that I don't do much beyond reading. Need to get your exercise in, man! However, the letter on my desk has naturally caught my interest. It's the first piece of mail I've received here at Yamaku, so it'd feel special even if it wasn't something as rare as a handwritten letter. What causes me even more trepidation is the name of the sender, written neatly on the back of the envelope. Iwanako. I have no idea why she would write to me. I haven't been in contact with anyone from my old school since I transferred, and Iwanako is the last person I'd expect to want to write me a letter. The last time I saw Iwanako was terribly awkward. Embarrassingly so. She came to my hospital room, peeled me an apple out of courtesy, and then we practically sat in silence for half an hour. She said goodbye and didn't look me in the eye when she closed the door. It might have been a natural end to the series of visits that were probably pretty painful for both of us. Every time she visited me in the hospital, I wanted to talk to her, but something stopped me every time. Every time that I didn't speak made the next time even harder. Iwanako always had this aura of fragility around her, as if she'd shatter into pieces at the slightest disturbance. Initially, I think it might have been that delicacy that attracted me to her, but after what happened back then, it felt as if she really had shattered. She looked so sad that I didn't want to say anything that might upset her, and I never could figure out the right words to say. I told her that it wasn't her fault. She nodded, and I really think she understood that if it hadn't been that, then sooner or later something else would have made my heart give out. Yet she looked so hopelessly sad every time she opened that door and entered my room. So I never managed to say the things I wanted to say. In the end, that might have hurt her even more. Are we going to read the whole thing this time? Excuse me. I need to grab a drink again. I finished my first one, but my throat's getting sore again. Gotta keep hydrated. There we go. Carefully, I open the envelope and draw out a folded letter from within. Dear Hisao, how are you? I hope you are well and happy at your new school. Everyone here misses you. Almost all of our second year class got put together in class 3-1 for the final year, so we were pretty comfortable right from the beginning of the year. I'm sure you would have been assigned to this class as well. The mood among the third year seems to be very anxious about the final exams, even though they are so far away. The teachers are badgering us about it all the time. Even old Mr. Tachibana, who is, by the way, our homeroom teacher this year. Would you believe it? I was sure that he'd retire after our second year, but here he is, nagging everyone about studying for exams. I think things like that are the main reason why the mood among the third years is so nervous. I must admit that I'm somehow losing confidence in myself as well, even though I've always fared reasonably well in exams. It's so weird to think that we are already seniors, isn't it? Time has really flown past. I wonder where it went. The new first years seem so young and somehow really innocent. I keep wondering if I was like them in my first year. I've been feeling nostalgic like this for the whole first trimester. There are other things I want to say. I'm writing to you because I felt that there are things I should have said after the incident back in winter. I really regret that I wasn't able to say them in person, and I have no excuse for it. The truth is, the times when I visited you at the hospital made me worried about you. I'm not talking about your health. You seem to become more distant and disheartened. It was natural after something like that happened, I'm sure, but somehow I got the feeling that you had given up on something back then. Happiness, maybe? I wanted to somehow express my feelings, but the right words didn't come to me. I couldn't say anything to comfort you. I am really sorry for not being able to support you when it mattered the most. Though I like you so much. At least now, finally, I can be more honest. If I could go back to those quiet days in February and March, I'd tell you not to give up on yourself. That's what I would say. Maybe you wouldn't have drifted so far away if I had just said something. Hope you've managed to get back on your feet on your own. Now that the distance between us is also physical, it also feels more final somehow. I wonder if we will meet again. Perhaps it's for the best if we don't. Still, if you would like to correspond with me, by all means write me back. I'd very much like to hear about your new school and how you're doing. I wish you all the best. Sincerely, Iwanago. After finishing reading the letter, I folded it like it was and placed it on my desk. I don't know what to think of this. I feel empty and confused. Why now, after all this time? Just yesterday I decided that I can't let myself stay like this, that I'd try to get on top of my own life. Reading this letter just reminds me of what could have been. Of course I wished I didn't have to be here. I'd want to be in the same class with you and Aqua again. Maybe we could talk every day now and go on dates. My life didn't go like that. I didn't really need to be reminded of this. Iwanago needed to write this letter for her own sake, and I'm glad for her that she could, but it would have been better if I hadn't read it. Of course, she is right. I thought of the same thing yesterday. I had fallen into a pit of depression and now have to try to climb out. I rip out a page from my notebook and, after a moment of thinking how to frame my words, write a short reply to Iwanago. I find it difficult to be really honest to her, but at least I try to appear somewhat convincing. I don't write her about Yamaku at all. I doubt she will write me again, but I don't feel at all sad about it. I fold my own letter to her, and as I have no envelope, set it next to Iwanago's. I'll mail it to her later. Then I lie back on my bed, looking at the monotone grey ceiling. A bird sings outside of my window, and a sudden gust of wind flutters my curtains. The summer afternoon feels still, as if time had stopped for a brief moment. I think about all the things I've lost and will never regain. Okay, so that definitely it went different to the letter scene in Emmy's route. Thus, the languid days of mid-June pass by. I mail my letter to Iwanako and receive no reply. Having decided to ditch the old me, I start observing my fellow students even closer than I did before, hoping to understand how other people cope with their own issues. I start seeing things I didn't before, and it makes me wonder if I've been wrong twice. Does he? I'm just curious, like, is the letter exactly the same in each route? Because it kind of feels like the letter was like very relevant to like what Hisao was thinking of and worrying about. Feel a different reaction from it. Yeah, same letter. Okay. Different reaction for how each writer interprets these. I suppose that's fair enough. When you have the same character being written by multiple people. Superficially, everyone is abnormal, yet so strikingly normal that it shocked me at first. I admired the way my new schoolmates turned my prejudices around just like that, simply by being themselves. Now that I've gotten used to it, I begin noticing other kinds of tones in the people surrounding me every day. There is this soft, numb sadness all around me. I can see the effort everyone has to make just to get through the day and how it weighs on their shoulders, like it weighs on mine. Even the brightest smile is just slightly subdued. Every outburst of annoyance just slightly dampened. It's subtle, but it's definitely there. I try to think what it means, what I can learn from others. I wonder if deep down, everyone is as lost as I am. Is there even one person here who has truly found peace? I start to feel doubtful about myself once again. I can't decide whether these people are happy, unhappy, or if they've just learned to cope and now live in an unfeeling limbo like I did all spring. I escape from these feelings into the towering piles of books I carry to my room from Yugo's sanctuary. After realizing that this will just shut me down even more, I start going to the art club's room more often, usually whenever I can. Rin too seems to spend more time in there than in her own classroom. I've often seen her totter towards the door at the very end of our corridor. That wooden door and the room behind it, smelling of paint and paper, seem to mean more to her than the rest of the world combined. She says she has special permission to use the room, which I don't doubt at all. I don't think Nomiya would deny Rin anything. He seems to dote on her like an uncle upon her favourite niece. The object of his affection, however, has no favourites. She says she appreciates the teacher a lot for going the extra mile for her sake, but even when she says that, her expression is the same as always. It's as if she was talking about a particularly unremarkable rock that she saw the other day. I can't really figure out their relationship. Rin doesn't seem to let anyone close. I don't think even Emmy could say she's crossed a gap that seems to separate Rin from the rest of the world. I don't understand it. She seems so indifferent yet so passionate at the same time. Somewhere, the school bells ring the last call of the day. I realize I've been zoning out for who knows how long. Dazed, I sit up straighter, trying to look as inconspicuous as possible. The pungent smell of linseed oil and turpentine mix in my nostrils as I draw a deep breath. I feel drowsy and lightheaded. It's already this late and a few club members left early, so it's just me, Rin, the teacher, and two other girls who are also about to leave. Rin is sitting to my right, slowly working on a painting while I'm idling the time away. I don't think she realizes I've been watching her this whole time. With a nimble move of her delicate ankle, she dips the brush into crimson paint and presses it lightly onto the canvas. A stain spreads around, as if the brush was bleeding. Her progress has slowed down to a crawl. By now I've learned that this is dangerous for her technique, as the paint must not be allowed to dry before she's finished. It occurs to me that I am literally watching paint dry, and yet somehow I'm not feeling bored, despite spacing out just now. Most of the time, the art club is very relaxed and freeform, apart from times when Nomiya gets really excited about some technique or style he wants to teach us about. Everyone is free to pursue their own interests. Lacking one, I keep floating around without a direction. I try this and that, but nothing really leaves me with a deeper impression. Not to mention that I don't seem to have a special knack for anything. Well, I did get praised for my attempt at watercolors, and I felt pretty good about that myself, but that's it. I suppose it's to be expected. I joined the art club mostly on a whim, after all. I'm thinking that maybe I should quit the club if it's going to be this pointless. But there's nothing really wrong with pointlessness, and I can't exactly say I'm unhappy. Unsatisfied maybe, but I've only got myself to blame for that. As the pair of girls exit the club room with a cheerful bye-bye, Nomiya stands out from his desk. His chair scoots back with a loud screech that breaks the harmony of this quiet afternoon. He taps a pile of papers in his hands twice against the tabletop in order to straighten them, then stretches his back. I have a faculty meeting to attend, so I can't stay. I'll have to do some paperwork later, so if you want to stay, we can talk then. Sorry about this. There are two people here, but he's really talking to only one of us. Nomiya spends extra hours of his time mentoring Rin after official club hours are over. Joined for no reason, sure. But maybe he just hasn't realized a reason himself yet. And I'll bet he'd like to discuss his plan of getting Rin's art into a gallery a little more. It's alright. I think I'll probably be here, but it's not a big deal if I'm not. I don't really have much going on. Oh, much going now. Rin answers without moving her eyes from her work in progress. The tone of her voice is neither the polite kind expected when talking to a teacher, nor her usual monotone. So, I won't need to send a search party if you aren't here? Yes, no thanks. I don't like the party. We can talk later. Good girl. Smiling, the teacher picks up the rest of his papers and makes his way to the door. I glance at the clock above it and then at my watch to double check. They're 3 minutes apart, but nevertheless, the club's meeting time is over now. Rin seems intent on staying here to work on her piece while waiting for the teacher. I can't quite imagine what their one-on-one time would be like. Ooh. Excuse me, never yawn. Really weird, yeah, really good. Yeah, it is a... He doesn't seem to be too weird, but yeah, it is. Yeah. I don't think my intonation with it is helping, to be fair, though. Would they actually discuss anything? Rin is always so subdued in what she says, and when she does say something, it's difficult to understand what she's talking about. Maybe Nomiya just talks endlessly like he does at club meetings, letting Rin absorb what she will from his infinite well of art knowledge, like a sunflower turning to face the glowing sun. Use the word as that. Yeah. Yeah, it is a little odd. Uh, Maybe he can just be chalked up to one of his eccentricities. Do you mind if I stay? I thought maybe I'd give watercolors another try. I blurt out the excuse sort of accidentally, embarrassing myself. Rin doesn't take her eyes off her painting. Okay. I shift around in my chair, then get to fetching a cup of water, brushes, colours, and some paper. The sound of my footsteps invades the still afternoon air. Before starting, I try to recall what the teacher told us, an important philosophy of the medium. Working with watercolours means more working with water than working with colour. I try to keep that in mind and dip my tiny sable brush into the water cup. I'm mixing yellow and blue, trying to capture the sunlit treetops outside of the window. The sun is low, so the yellows are more pronounced and everything looks darker. I still can't quite connect what I see with what my hand does with the paints, but it's a possible attempt for my level. After a while, I start losing my focus and move the paper aside, deciding to watch Rin work for a while instead. That little while stretches first into a long while, then into a really long while. Rin paints, her entire being fully concentrated on the brush between her slender toes, and the painting coming to life one stroke at a time. She seems determined and yet, at the same time, relaxed, effortlessly moving the brush around, never hesitating. Colours meet and part, mix and cover each other on the canvas, bending to her quiet will. I don't know anything about composition, structure, or any of that stuff, but I really like Rin's paintings. I like how she looks when she paints. As usual, the silence between us compels me to speak rather than merely wait for her to open up. She might end up saying nothing at all. Do you mind if we talk? I don't mind. I kinda wanted to ask more about why you get so weird about this thing the teacher wants to arrange for you. Rin picks up a tube of paint and squeezes it between her toes on the palette, almost as easily as someone with opposable thumbs would. Taking up a brush again, she replies. A lot of things. And some not things. Unthings. I don't think that's a word. Do you want to talk about it? I try to reach out to her clumsily, ignoring the embarrassing feeling of awkwardness. Rin keeps her focus on the painting, spreading more and more paint on the canvas. Her lips forming a perfectly straight line as she concentrates on the job. Not really. Talking is hard. I mean, it's not hard. I'm talking even now, but saying the right things is really hard for me. No matter what, I just can't say the things I want. That sounds weird. It's true. I say all kinds of things that I don't really mean all the time. And sometimes I forget words, and then I use the wrong words. I even come up with new words for things that already have some. That's the worst thing. I feel like kind of like more and more I do like feel I understand Rin. I get really nervous and everything comes out a mess, and even I don't really understand what I want to say. I think there's something wrong with me that makes it like this. Remember when I said I can only think of 4 things at the same time? I nod wordlessly. It's not really 4. I mean, it is 4, but everything else is also there kind of in the background. Like being at an amusement park and a beehive at the same time, but that's not the point. I used to do better, like 6 or 7 things. I think so at least. I feel like I'm becoming dumber. I think everyone has times when they feel like they can't say the right things. Yeah, that's... Sorry, I kind of just read the line before I voiced it, but yeah. I think I get that feeling. But it's there all the time. Stronger and deeper. Yeah, deeper is a good word. I like that word. Deeper. It's that feeling of being underwater. Maybe it's just art. The more I paint, the more words I forget. Maybe at some point I will forget how to speak completely. Feels like I'm slowly forgetting everything. Do you remember what you thought about things 3 or 4 years ago? I don't. A long pause ensues, during which during which time seems to bend around itself, almost tying itself into a knot. I don't think I've ever heard Rin talk this earnestly and for so long about anything before. It's like I'm fading away from the world. Rin's foot has stopped its work on the canvas, and she is staring at her painting, unmoving, as if gazing at some faraway horizon. Sunlight briefly glints in the corner of her onyx eyes. Something floats up into the top layer of Rin's being, and she lets out a long breath. Then she blinks, and it's gone. Paintings stay behind. When I look at my old things, I remember what I was thinking back when I made them. Oh, that's... Okay, this is... I know you said, like, ADHD, Minnie, but I'm kind of... This feels like something maybe, like, going, like, further than kind of the... Yeah, just the... Like, kind of wondering, like, if there is actually, like, a memory issue there. Or maybe it's just kind of... hmm, I think maybe... Maybe that's just me not understanding. It's just a line there. They make me feel like I can be with all the past me's when I was a different me. I guess they are the proof of my existence. She uses the exact same words Nomiya used when he spoke to us of the nature of art. I didn't think Rin was paying any attention back then. I wonder if she was listening, or whether she had heard the same passionate speech from Nomiya before. Either way, I feel overwhelmed. Boy, are you complicated. I would have taken up writing a diary. Her eyes quickly flicker to my direction and then back to the painting, but she doesn't pick up the brush anymore. That's a great idea. Why didn't I ever think of that? Are you being sarcastic? What sarcasm? Yeah. Yeah, Rin doesn't seem like the type who would bother with sarcasm too much. I don't call her on the joke. If it is one. Right at that moment, Nomiya returns from his meeting. He waves to us a very melodramatic hello, mildly surprised to see me here along with his pet student. Walking with a boisterous gait to his desk, he drops his papers upon it. He picks up a handkerchief and cleans his glasses with incredibly meticulous care before walking over to us. Before he is within earshot of us, Rin says something to me in a quick, quiet voice. Change is the scariest thing in the world to me. And I seriously don't know if I want to change into a person who could do the thing the teacher wants me to do. Don't know if I could even if I wanted to. Hello again. Hello. What's going on? He smiles a bit sheepishly, looking at both of us with uninhibited interest. Nothing. Oh, tense music. We were just talking about that thing with your acquaintance in the gallery. For Rin's works. Sort of. Oh? Any decisions? I look at Rin, who is trying to arrange the bothered expression on her face into something else. Okay. This was not the choice I was I wasn't sure. I was kind of feeling like maybe there was a choice coming up, but this was not the choice. I thought the choice, like, if anything here, would be like whether or not to encourage her. Not, we're encouraging her either way. It's just in what way. I'm. I don't. I don't like this. Uh. Never have a different. Yeah, I don't like that. Like, regardless of the choice, like they're all kind of like pushing her into doing it when she's just like confided in us. Like this like scares her. Especially not with the teacher present, because I feel that's kind of like nearly forcing her into it. Like I feel like if we were going to encourage her, like maybe that's something to do just like in a private conversation between the two of us, not kind of in front of the teacher who is clearly like very much. I don't know. I just, yeah. Then sign takes away how she feels about. Yeah. I just, yeah. I feel the thing that bothers me about this is it feels like ganging up on Rin. Because now, like, there's two people. Like, kind of one person who, like, she doesn't like visually express it very much, but from what she said, she does like respect and is quite like feels to a certain extent indebted to Nomiya. And then I don't know how much it means, like what Rin, like how much Rin trusts Hisao. But you know, she's confiding in him all this stuff that doesn't feel like it's the kind of thing she's. I don't like any of these choices. I don't like the choice. Definitely take the first one. See, I was actually about to say kind of something opposite. I think it'd be a big hit. No, because that comes back to the idea of like being remembered. I don't know. I don't like this choice. Like, I really would rather like Hisao keep quiet, and like if he's not going to kind of like side with Rin on this at the moment, just at least stay quiet and like have this conversation like alone. Don't. I know. I hate this feeling of like being on Nomiya's side. It just bothers me. Because it's one thing having a conversation with someone and disagreeing, but when you're in a conversation and like there's two people, like two or more people, and you're kind of now the one, like the minority who's of a different opinion, that puts pressure on you. It's like if normally it's given her a big. Yeah, I get that, but it's still. is it a right opportunity? Is something like this what Rin needs right now? Here it is. Big opportunity. Yeah. Yeah, like to make it clear, I'm not like against like encouraging Rin to try this, but I feel this isn't the way to go about it. I feel like this encouragement should be given like in a one-to-one conversation where Rin has a chance to like make her own case. Like I suppose like for a very simple other analogy, it's like if you have a group of 3 friends and you're trying to decide where to eat, and one friend is like completely set on like getting pizza, and you have your other friend who's like, I'm really not sure I want pizza. I don't know what I want, but I really don't think that. But if you step in and also like kind of, yeah, I think pizza is definitely the right choice, you're going to be putting pressure on that one friend, because now it's kind of like, well, both my friends want this, so I feel like kind of I don't really have the same right to tell them not what they want. I don't know. This just bothers me. I don't like this. I don't like this choice. I suppose I should save. I don't like this. Yeah, because I can just imagine Nomi as well, like turning around, like as soon as regardless of what we say, like turn around and going, "See, even Hisao here agrees that like you should go for this." I don't like it. Pick the lesser of the evils. I kind of want, if I have to pick one, I feel like it being exciting or something. Because that makes it about the art, I think. The top one makes it about popularity. The bottom choice, like you should aim high, makes it about performance. But I feel the middle one is about the act of doing it itself is potentially something fun. I don't like any of the choices, but yeah, this is. Don't you think it would be exciting? I'd be wild about something like this. Haha, so would I. But this is about things like your career and future rather than a youthful adventure. Although there's nothing wrong with enjoying oneself. Nomiya gently reprimands my excitement, but I'm not going to let it go. Seriously, everyday life is so dull. You always do the same things every day in the same way. This would be something else. Now, my boy, it's a big decision. And even though I'd like Tezuka to be more decisive as well, she needs time to mull it over. Why don't we let her decide? You have good intentions, but in the end it comes down to I wanted to tell me off. Okay. Huh. Any thoughts on the subject, Tezuka? You've been quiet all afternoon. We both look at Rin, who doesn't return either of our gazes. No, I think I'm going. You are? What a shame. Promise me you'll give me some kind of answer in a week or so, alright? Alright. Good girl. Rin stands up and trots out of the room without anyone saying anything further. Nomiya looks at me over his circular pink glasses, smiling sympathetically. You've made friends with her then, Nakai? Well, something like that, I guess. Depends on how you look at it. To be honest, I'm not really sure. It's more like me and Rin just tend to hang around each other irregularly, talking or not about something that more often resembles some twisted mockery of philosophy rather than normal everyday things that friends chat about. Well, that's all good, isn't it? You're a new student, and we should be promoting integration into the student body and such. I can't remember all the buzzwords they spew at faculty and Yamaku Foundation meetings, but that's how it is. Tezuka isn't the most social person around these parts either. Yeah, that's definitely true. So, she's talked about my suggestion to you? Oh no, not really. I think it's been more me pressing her to decide something. Maybe I shouldn't have. Oh, I'm sure it's fine. I'm too soft with her, even when I shouldn't. I don't really know how to handle Tezuka. She's so independent and willful. It's sort of weird. I really dislike that expression he has with the tongue sticking out. I wonder if this is what every old geezer and art teacher who got his hands on a young and fiery prodigy felt like. Also, that line did. Okay, yeah, we sounded like we had said earlier. Like he doesn't seem too. Sometimes, Nomiya, you rub me the wrong way. He chuckles ironically to himself a little bit, turning to face Rin's latest work, which she left drying on the easel. She departed so abruptly that I wonder if she considers it finally finished. So, let's see the painting then. He leans in closer, peering at the canvas. It draws you in, doesn't it? Nomiya stands back straight, his face a dreamy, nostalgic visage. I don't answer him, as he seems to be taking my agreement as a given. I sometimes stay here after hours just to look at Tezuka's paintings. She's really just prodigious, and at such a young age, I get shivers just thinking of what she could become with a few more years of refinement. You asked me what makes an artist, remember? This is it. They take a piece of the world and reshape it in their own image. Metaphorically, of course. Looking at her makes you wonder what the world looks like through her eyes. It's a wonderful thing to be young and full of passion. Most extraordinary time of your life. You would do well to remember that, Nakai. Yes, sir. It's so silly. People always ask artists, where do you get your ideas? As if ideas were something sold at the market for pocket change. You can't explain inspiration. For people like Tezuka, it's like breathing. It's an instinct. I've met maybe one or two with the same kind of raw potential, but no amount of potential will amount to anything if one doesn't work to realize it. It's practice, technique, skill. Draw for an hour every day for a few years, and even the most hopeless case becomes a possible artist. Tezuka's not brilliant because she was born with a natural talent for this kind of thing. She's brilliant because she works harder than anyone, ever since she learned to hold a pen, most likely. And all of it with her feet, no less. Absolutely phenomenal. Silence finally lands in the clubroom as Nomiya lets himself get drawn back into Rin's painting, gently murmuring acceptance towards the still wet canvas. What kind of things do you paint yourself? As if waking from a reverie, he looks at me, surprised at my talking to him. Oh, I don't. Not anymore. I became an art teacher only after my career in that field came to an end. Now I just pass on knowledge to the next generation. The way Nomiya answers is curious, both giving and withholding information. I feel like asking more, but he cuts in before I get the chance. Now you should run along, my boy. It's almost dinner time, isn't it? Yes, sir. Have a good evening. You too. I quickly collect my stuff and step out into the deserted hallway, leaving the teacher alone with his musings. The weekend will be here soon. It's amazing how fast time flies here. I promised Emmy I'd join her for the celebration of her triumph at the track meet last week. That should be plenty of fun. Still don't like that last choice. That bothers me. Are you sure you want to go? The weather has been wonderful for all of June has finally taken a turn for the worse. The leaden clouds drooping over the town look worrisome, and the air feels heavy and still, just like before rain. And the forecast says there's a 60% chance of rain this afternoon. Maybe this will mark the beginning of the rainy season. Of course I'm sure. I've been waiting for this all week. Emmy had planned a picnic at some nearby park, with snacks aplenty bought from the convenience store, but with the weather this gloomy, it seems risky. I asked some other people to come too, but they didn't want to go because of the weather. We have to prove them wrong. Wrong how? You know, like how it always rains when you think it won't, and when you think it will, it doesn't. We'll go no matter what, so it's a win-win situation. I've been going without sweets for weeks because of practice for the track meet. Now I can splurge on anything I want. Nothing is going to stop me now. I thought you were all about a healthy lifestyle and such. Oh, Hisao, you understand so little. There's not a single girl on this planet who doesn't love sweets. I don't like sweets. She doesn't count. Anyway, is this clear? Poor Rin, just... The first thing she says in the scene, and it's immediately responded with, was she doesn't count. Emmy, this is Rin's route. You got enough screen time last time. Let Rin have the stage. Completely. We will go and eat our fill of sweets. Damn straight we will. I'm going to have to work it off later, but it's so worth it. Emmy seems to be extremely determined about this. She is positively exhilarated, brimming with energy as always, but something seems special today. It looks like she can hardly stop herself from jumping up and down on the spot. Come on! I grasped the wooden handle of the umbrella I bought and started to follow the two girls. They seem to have no qualms about leaving me behind if I keep daydreaming. Emmy makes a hilarious expression much later in Rin's route. Okay. My umbrella is really fancy. The old-fashioned kind with a curved handle and a metal spike at the end. It used to belong to my grandfather. It looks like an antique, but it's in really good shape. Almost as good as new. It's really big, too. I remember how my grandfather, my grandmother, and I all fit neatly under it when a rainstorm caught us on an afternoon walk years ago, when I was around 9 or 10. My grandparents are both gone now, but I still have the umbrella to keep me dry when it rains. Oh, large umbrella? Is this the huddling up together under the umbrella scene? We walk along the road leading down from the school towards the convenience store, the clouds casting their dark shadow down on us. The weather seems to be taking a turn for the worse, and I am pretty sure I just felt a raindrop on my head. Didn't you guys think of taking umbrellas? It really looks like it'll rain. Rin looks at her limply hanging sleeves and shrugs her shoulders. Yeah, to be fair, Rin does have a fair excuse. I don't have one. Besides, little rain won't kill us. She pushes her chest out, looking very confident about that. We aren't made of sugar. I thought that's exactly what girls are made of, especially considering what you're planning to gorge yourself on today. She just sticks out her tongue in reply. The walk down from the school to the local shopping district is not a long one, but it's not very short either. It's all downhill, so our steps roll easily, but time stretches out nevertheless. The distance is right there, in that grey area where you don't expect the trip to be quickly over with, but you aren't preparing for a long walk either. Sugar, spice, and all things. Yep. It's what's it boys are made of? Like slime, snails, and puppy dog tails. I can't remember that nursery rhyme now. Thus, the trip is slightly too long to stay comfortably quiet the whole time, though the girls don't seem to mind. Rin walks calmly ahead, seemingly lost in thought. I'm kind of wary about starting a conversation, since the last time didn't end very well for either of us. Sticks, snails, and puppy dog tails. Oh, sticks? Snails. Yeah, something like that. So it's possible as well, like, there's different versions, like, there's maybe, like, different versions of it, depending on, like, locality. Like, we already know there's a few little phrase differences between the UK and the US. I haven't exchanged a single word with her since then. Emmy, on the other hand, is way too happy about just walking. She seems to literally jump a little on every step, or skips over cracks, or balance on the edge of the sidewalk. Every now and then she comments on something, to which Rin replies in an automatic-sounding, nonsensical way that makes Emmy giggle a little. As we reach the bottom of the hill, the first raindrops begin to fall. I feel one hit the top of my head, then two more hit my nose in quick succession. Oh, there we go. It's not one or two rain clouds anymore. The entire sky has turned shadowy grey, billowing rain clouds swirling right on top of us. Oh shoot, I guess we aren't going to have a picnic then. What now? Maybe we could have a rain picnic. A picnic in rain. No, we don't just catch a cold. I don't like getting me or my snacks wet. I kind of like it. Not the snacks part, though. Snips? Snails? Snips? Snails? I thought it was like either slug snails and puppy dog tails, or like slime snails and puppy dog tails. Never heard of it. Never heard of snips. Emmy considers our problematic situation for a moment while I open my umbrella and lift it up, trying to hold it so that all three of us get covered. That's what Google says. Well, Google might be wrong. I don't... Snips just does not seem right. Hey, Hisao, have you been to the Shanghai yet? It's a cafe somewhere around here, right? I've heard of it. Thought it was sticks, don't boys like playing? But they do. They do tend to. For me as a kid, it was less sticks, though, and more like plastic conduit. That, because my granddad being an electrician. So we got, like, the white plastic conduit that was, like, cut into, like, just the right length to kind of be, like, play swords. But because they're, like, hollow and plastic, like, when you swing them, they make that, like, warbly noise. Which sounds very, like, lightsabery. Oh. The good old days. It's a nice place. Let's go there and wait out the rain. If it's just a really quick shower, we can still go for the picnic. And if it gets worse, we'll just order cake there instead. Neither Rin nor I have better ideas, so with Emmy taking the lead, we start walking briskly along a side street. The cafe is only a few blocks away, but even with the umbrella, we can't avoid getting slightly damp. The rain keeps coming down harder and harder. It's the type of stick you're playing. Yeah. What is a stick? What's the definition? Just like any inanimate object that's long and thin, right? Raindrops leave tiny dots on the black asphalt road, which then combine into bigger patches like pointless artwork being made in front of our eyes in mere seconds. It's pouring heavily, drumming onto hoods of the cars parked on the sides of the street and already flowing in little creeks along the sidewalks. The yellow light shining through rainwater streaming down the windows looks very warm and inviting. I shake the excess water off the umbrella and head inside with them, following Emmy to a vacant table in the furthest corner of the small cafe. The place is almost full. Apparently other people had the same idea as Emmy, and now we were all stranded together here in this cozy little place. Varnished wooden pillars and paper screens mixed with Parisian-style tables and chairs in discordant harmony, a contrast of old and new. Light jazz plays quietly in the background, though it's mostly drowned out by the murmur of the customers. There's only one waitress serving the full house, frantically gliding from one table to another and trying to keep up with everything. To my surprise, I think I recognize her. I watch her deliver a tray of teacups and pastries to another table taken by Yamaku students, then take an order from a middle-aged couple sitting across from us, before finally turning to serve us. Yuko? Now that she's close and facing me, I see it really is her, the part-time librarian of Yamaku in full waitress attire. It's a pretty cute outfit, and she has her hair tied up in buns to match. It's a completely different image from her mousy, plain style at her other job. Yuko blinks a few times, looking confused, then remembers that she was about to say something. Welcome to the Shanghai. So, you work here too? I thought you were a university student or something. Yes, that too. It's a part-time job, as you can see. It's Sunday, so there aren't any lectures. A good thing too, since today has been so busy I'm wishing for another pair of hands. Anyway, I'm in a bit of a rush, as you can see. What can I get you today? Emmy doesn't hesitate, even for a second. Her eyes glitter like those of a kid in a candy store. Tea for everyone, and cake for me! Yuko tries to stay as formal and professional looking as possible, smiling cheerily at my ravenous companion. Yes, today we have a choice of strawberry shortcake, raspberry layer cake, or lemon meringue pie. Strawberry! No, lemon! No, actually, I'll take both. She looks at me in challenge. I'll take just a pie. Nothing. Emmy makes a face at Rin as though she had bitten into a lemon. She's clearly unhappy with her for not joining in. Rin did say she doesn't like sweets. Oh, come on, Rin. That's not polite at all. Nothing, thank you. No, you silly. I meant that you should order something too. I'll take a straw then. My feet are all wet. Sorry? The drinking kind of straw. One, please. Yuko is obviously uncertain of what to think about this. She fiddles with her pen and stationery for a moment, looking like she's about to cry before deciding that we finish ordering. Thank you very much. She bows down a little bit too deeply and scampers to safety behind the counter. After that ordeal is over, I have a chance to relax a bit and take a better look at the surroundings. Almost every table is occupied by people happy to be out of the rain, thankfully sipping their tea while waiting to dry off. Fragments of grumbling about lousy weather or discussions over recent homework carry from nearby tables to my ears. Each one overlaps the other, but all are covered by the sound of falling rain. Even just like imagining that, like having that audio like put into my head of like several conversations going on around me is... Ooh, I do not like that. Huh. I must have bumped my head against something today. Sorry, I just... felt a bit of an itch in my head, and there's dried blood in my hair. I must have knocked my head against something without noticing. After a while, Yuko returns to our table, carrying a tray with a huge teapot, 3 cups, a slice of cake, and 2 slices of pie. She slaps the tray onto our tiny table with a clatter, almost sending the teapot toppling over into Rin's lap. We barely recover before she bows again and leaves, hurrying off to serve the other customers. Emmy has been eyeing her strawberry cake very hungrily all this time, but somehow she managed to contain herself until Yuko was out of sight. She digs in with gusto, while I content myself with pouring tea for everyone and placing the straw in Rin's cup. Rin looks at the way the tea swirls round and round in her white china cup, her eyes half closed, almost like she's been hypnotized. Oh, lemon. I do like myself lemons. I pick up my fork and eye the food in front of me. The pie I got looks perfectly done, a thick layer of meringue atop creamy lemon custard. After having the first bite, I pause, savouring the combination of tangy citrus and smooth, sugary meringue. It's quite good, though a bit too sweet for me. Yeah, very good. She She's talking through a mouthful of cake, already halfway through her slice, even though it's not exactly small. How to taste some of that? Emmy, you got your own slice of... You had the excuse last time that it was, you know, a different food. Yeah. Stealing my food when you have your own of exactly the same. Before I get to respond, she strikes out at my delicious pie, takes a piece of her fork and escapes with it. This is pretty good too. What are you doing? You have a slice of your own. Yeah, but if I started on that before finishing the cake, it'd be rude, don't you think? I mean, and it's not rude to steal someone else's. Her insolence is outrageous, but the gentleman in me allows for no retaliation. It bothers me. Like, if you like, I kind of like got it last time. Like, yeah, if when you see someone having something that you were kind of like, oh, that does look nice. I wish I'd ordered some of that. Like that feels a little more like I felt I could complain less about Emmy stealing our food last time. But yeah, it's like you have exactly the same food sitting in front of you. I glare angrily at her, and she replies by sticking out her tongue impishly. Emmy is even more hyper than usual today, but I don't mind. It's good for her to let off some steam. I take another sip of the tea in my cup. It's good and hot, even though I don't usually care much for tea, and the atmosphere in the cafe is very relaxing. I don't mind spending the rest of the afternoon here, not even after Emmy orders her second piece of strawberry cake, and Rin spends most of the time staring fixedly at the rain streaming down from the heavens. Even Yuko rolls her eyes at the third piece of cake disappearing into Emmy's bottomless stomach just as quickly as the previous two. Despite the passing of time, it's still raining outside when we exit the Shanghai, though it seems to be letting up a little. Too bad it had to rain on your parade. Weren't we supposed to have a picnic? Emmy doesn't look too distraught over this turn of events. It's fine. We had a good time, didn't we? I feel really pumped up. It isn't even raining that hard anymore. I kinda want to hike back to school to get rid of this energy and work off some of that cake. She stretches her arms out and arches her back like a cat. After rolling her shoulders around twice, she smiles brightly. Man, I can't really run with these legs though, especially uphill. Wish I'd brought my other ones. This notion sounds odd, spoken so casually. But I guess for Emmy, changing legs is sort of like someone else changing shoes. Maybe if I walk really fast, that'll be kind of like running. I think I'll do that. I won't be able to keep up with that going uphill, though. I really am in bad shape. Plus, you'll get wet without an umbrella. It's hardly even a drizzle now. A few drops won't hurt. I think I'm going to go to the track after I change my legs, too. Emmy skips away from the protection of my umbrella and goes on ahead at a brisk pace. Suddenly, she seems to remember something as she stops and spins around. See you tomorrow! Come eat lunch with us on the roof. I'll bring enough for free. Rin and I are left to watch her wave at us and skip off again. Soon she disappears around a street corner. I'll never understand why Emmy is perpetually in such a hurry to get somewhere. So, would you like me to walk you back to school so that at least one of you won't get wet? If you're happy with it. It seems neither of us wants to keep alive the strained atmosphere of the argument a few days ago in the art room, which makes me feel relieved. I don't want to bear grudges, and I'm happy that Rin feels the same way. Thus, it is decided that we are content with each other's company for now, and we start walking in the same direction as Emmy, albeit at a considerably calmer pace. Oh. I get a bit closer to Rin, even though the umbrella is already big enough to shelter us both. I can feel her nearby warmth providing a contrast to the chill of this rainy weather. Raindrops hitting the umbrella make a distinctive sound, playing the staccato melody of rainfall for nobody in particular. I realize I haven't been outside in the rain in what feels like forever. I inhale, taking in the scent of the rain, feeling the weather with all my senses. The world melts into a blur inside the rain. The colours of the sky have deepened from grey to dark blue, with hues of red added to the mix from the sunlight reflecting off the clouds. The low-hanging sky looks pretty, as if I could reach out my hand and touch it. Have I told you how much I like rain? It's like painting. It makes me feel connected. Almost echoing my thoughts, Rin lets out one of her own. It slips out of her mouth, circling around us gently. Everything looks so soft, like the outlines of things just disappear. I like that. It's like the rain is hugging me. Her voice sounds different from usual, more gentle now and soft. I wonder if it's only because of the rain or because of the mood the rain brought upon the quiet artist girl. I feel that mood in myself too, enhanced by her words. Yeah, I like rainy weather too. It's nice every once in a while. I wonder what it is about the rain. Everything. A silence follows that statement, as if it allows for no continuation. I decide to push the direction of the conversation a little. But, you know, if you like the feeling of being connected, what's the problem with showing your paintings to others? Don't you want to be connected to other people? It's not the same thing. You're comparing apples and squids. I brought up the subject Rin wants to avoid, and it shuts her down again. The question stays hanging between us for the rest of the trip back to school. And I can't help wondering what on earth I could have said to truly reach Rin. Does she feel that she's lacking an identity? She has a strong personality, but if pressed to elaborate, I'm not sure I could describe it accurately. She feels like a person who is in constant conflict with herself. I never know what to expect when I talk to her. I wonder how she herself experiences that disconnect. If Rin is asking herself every day, who am I? And obsessively paints images to define herself day after day, what does she think of that way of living? The irony is, that's the exact same question I've been asking myself for the past 4 or 5 months. For me, it was miserable. I can only assume that it's the natural state of being for this girl. When we stop in front of the dormitories, Rin turns to face me, as if sensing my thoughts from afar. Her gaze travels emptily past my left shoulder into the shapeless rainfall. Her dark eyes seem to suck the low ambient light into themselves, like a reverse mirror. That empty gaze lets nothing out. If I want to understand what's going on behind those eyes, I have to work it out myself. Rin opens her mouth, then closes it without saying anything. The silence lasts for a few more moments before she takes a step towards the dorm building door. See you tomorrow. Okie dokie. And off to tomorrow. The next morning, like every second Monday morning until he says otherwise, I have an appointment with the nurse. They allow me to skip part of my first class in the morning, and I don't feel any shame in skipping the rest either. Rather than being thankful I get to miss world history, I instead feel dread when I think about these appointments. I wake up at a normal time anyway and wash myself in the bath for my Sheriff Kenji, tidying my sleep-disheveled hair. I quickly get dressed and put my laundry in the basket. I pack up for the school day. I have all my homework done, like usual, so I have a bit of free time now. There's no point in going to the morning class for 20 minutes before I'd have to get to the nurse's office, so I lie down on my bed and read a book until it's time to go. The door to the nurse's office is open, which is unusual. I enter while knocking to announce my arrival. Looking up from his computer screen, he motions me to take a seat with a friendly hello. Steam wafts up from a piping hot cup of coffee on his desk. It's probably not his first today. How are you feeling on this wonderful morning, Hisao? I'm alright, I think. It was cold yesterday because of the rain, so I woke up feeling a bit groggy. You too, huh? Quite a few kids got caught without an umbrella, so we've been spending time handing out masks and curing sniffles. Alright, today it's tests day. Give me your arm. I extend my left arm towards him, keeping my face expressionless. The nurse ties a rubber tourniquet around my bicep with a practiced movement and briskly goes about his business. I don't think anybody really likes getting stuck with needles, but at least I got over my distaste for them. I had to. Now I barely even twitch at the moment of truth. Once that's done, a blood pressure check follows, then there are checklists and questionnaires to go through. The nurse nods and scribbles in my answers to questions as I give them. Alright, let's have a listen now. I unbutton my shirt and put it neatly on the back of the chair I was using while he puts on his stethoscope. I know by heart the order of places where he's going to listen to my lungs and heartbeat. I adjust my breathing to be even and deep without even being asked. It's become routine now, for both of us. It's funny, this is pretty much the only time in one's life when you really concentrate on breathing and nothing else. It has always amused me. The nurse lifts the cold steel stethoscope from my chest and places it a few inches lower, listening again. The contact with the metal makes me flinch on reflex, even though I was expecting it. He furrows his brow, but I can't tell if it's because he's unhappy or if he's trying to pick something specific out among the complex multitude of irregularities in my heartbeat. Okay. Sniffles. Is there something wrong? Please don't talk. I shut up and become more anxious. The nurse is nice, but I can't help disliking these mandatory checkups. I wonder if I'm going to end up hating all medical appointments from now on because of these. He finally lifts the circular metal plate from my chest, allowing me to talk again. Everything seems to be fine. Are you feeling alright yourself? I suppose. I was out yesterday when it was raining and, yeah, I really felt a little bit under the weather in the morning. Maybe I caught a cold. Were you with Emmy? She came down with a cold too. My people told her to stay in bed for a day or two. Really? I mean, I was with her, but I didn't know she got sick. I guess it was a dumb thing after all for her to go out in the rain like that. Yeah, well, let's put that aside. Everything seems to check out for you, but remember to be careful. Of course, I really don't want to go back to the hospital. He catches something, maybe repressed terror, I don't know, in my voice and glances up from some papers he was looking at. Hey, don't worry. At this stage, it would take a huge crash in your condition to get you re-hospitalized. It doesn't really reassure me, but grumbling about it to him won't make any difference. I quietly take my leave. Walking along the corridor from the auxiliary building to the main school building, I encounter a young female nurse coming the other way. She smiles at me when we pass by each other. The lobby is empty of people. No surprise, since classes are still going on. I hear muffled sounds of discussion coming from behind the first floor classroom doors. I glance at my watch. I'd have to rush to get to my classroom in time, and I don't feel like going to class anyway. So I decide to climb up to the roof and have an extra long lunch break. Emmy promised she'd bring something for me today, but if she's sick, that's probably not going to happen. I'm not feeling hungry anyway, so it's all the same. The climb up the steep stairwell to the roof is oddly liberating, almost like losing weight. I feel satisfaction that it doesn't wind me as badly as it did the first time I came up here. I push open the squeaky door at the top and step into the sunlight. The chain-link fence allows for a grand view over the treetops, all the way to the grey silhouettes of downtown further away. The dreary weather of yesterday is just a memory now. The silvery blue sky seems to be a mere arm's reach away. I forget for a moment that I'm in a bad mood. The warmth of the sun soaks into my bones, making me drowsy and lazy instead. Oh. The bells ring for lunch break, startling me back into reality. Soon afterwards, the quad below me bursts into life. Students pour out of the doors down on the ground floor, intent on enjoying lunch at the quad and the lush gardens in this perfect weather. When I hear the door to the stairwell being pushed open, I don't bother turning to see who it is. The intruder starts coming towards me with uneven footsteps. The little river stones the roof is covered with rattle and crunch underfoot. The footsteps stop a few feet behind me, followed by a silence. I look upwards, into the glowing eye of the sun. Don't look into the sun! Absorbing its warmth with my whole body. What are you doing? I turn around out of courtesy at her first words to behold the slim, awkward figure of Rin Tezuka. She looks very much like herself today, too. Her hair is maybe a tad messier than usual, as if she just got out of bed. She stands with her weight shifted onto one foot, looking at me with mild curiosity, as if I were something in a store's display window. I don't know. Just spacing out, I guess. What about you? Emmy promised food. We usually eat here. I'm afraid you're going to be disappointed. I heard Emmy came down with a cold. Oh, I guess that makes sense. She wasn't in class. It's not that common to get a cold in Jundo. You don't think she went running at the track afterward like she said. The rain just kept going. Probably. In the rain? In the rain. That sounds like a bit too much for just keeping up with the training regimen. Emmy is a hard-headed one, though, so I can see her running in the downpour just because she had to. Well, that's obviously overdoing it. Probably why she came down with that cold, too. But I guess it's kind of cool. Speaking of that, I'm not feeling well either. Rin sneezes pretty hard, failing to stop it in time. You can't really stop a sneeze. She cranes her head down to wipe her nose on her shoulder, so deciding that would be too unladylike, I pull out my handkerchief and hold it to her nose. Here, bless you. Thanks. She clears her nose and I dab the handkerchief gently on it, wiping it clean. Her nose is really cute. Oh. Didn't mean to hit space again. Her nose is really cute. Oddly enough, it's probably the girliest part of Rin's face. I think I'm blushing a little, but Rin doesn't notice. Thanks. I think I might be coming up or down with something too, like I was saying. I hope not. Rin doesn't seem to be too bothered. Rin doesn't seem to... Okay, that confused me for a moment because they used the wrong two. Rin doesn't seem to be too bothered about eating, so despite the lack of Emmy-provided lunch, we stay up on the rooftop. She comes over and stands next to me, right up against the fence, looking into the same abstract distance as I am. Nobody else seems to be coming around to intrude upon this calmness either. It's quiet and peaceful. What does one do on a lunch break if not eat? It turns out that, between the two of us, we don't really know. Fortunately, passing time is an activity that manages itself just fine. Even though there's no conversation to fill the silence between the passing seconds, no pointless activities like cloud gazing to spend upon the minutes between now and then, time marches on relentlessly. I keep checking the time on my watch, then decide it's a dumb thing to do. Instead, I try to hold out for as long as possible before I check it again. Maybe I can hold out for 6 or 7 minutes. Rin remains silent, idly looking up at the cerulean expanse above us. I wonder why, more often than not, we don't speak much. She said that she doesn't like speaking because of her perceived difficulties of expressing herself properly. As for me, I think I just got sucked into the habit at the hospital, where I spent such a long stretch of time never really talking to anyone. Most of the time I feel comfortable about this quiet mood, and even when I get the feeling that I have to break the silence, it's always so difficult to come up with something to talk about when it's with Rin. She and I are on such different wavelengths that nothing seems to be on common ground. What is it that you like about the sky so much? She turns to me, her eyes dark and serious. Sky is the only thing that is perfect. I know it. You could say I'm an expert of sky if you wanted. And I am, even if you didn't want to. A sky expert. It's always different, but it's always perfect, also when it's different. I follow her gaze up into the boundless blue expanse, thinking of her words. Have you ever wanted to be something different? It wouldn't be so bad to be the sky. No, I mean, someone else. Someone different. To go to a normal school like everyone else, not have to worry about stuff. What stuff? I try to find the right words for a moment, but can't manage to form a sentence that I'd be comfortable with actually using. Man, I don't really want to say it aloud. Try. I'm not so good at mind reading. Don't you ever want to not be disabled? She thinks about this and then shakes her head, frowning. That's a hard question. I don't know what to say. It's okay if you don't say anything. For some reason, I'm just so unsatisfied with who I am right now that I'm constantly thinking stuff like that. It's pretty hard to admit, but there it is. Honestly, I feel relieved about finally saying it aloud to someone, even if it's just Rin. I think I want to be different. Sometimes. I've thought about changing myself lately, but it's a bit scary. Like walking backwards with your eyes closed. The difficult part is to know where your toes are not pointing. I mean, directions. Even if I don't do anything, I would never stay the same. It's like my old paintings. They're different than what I paint now because I'm different. But they're still my paintings, so there's something the same. That's really strange. I am different every day, but I'm still me every day. Who am I then? Oh, that's a question. Sorry, just needed to blow my own nose. Brings like a mental version of like the ship of Theseus. Like if we keep changing little by little, what makes us us? Is that a riddle? If you want it to be. I don't know the right answer though, so you have to come up with it yourself. Well, it's the sky, isn't it? Going by your definition just now? I actually managed to surprise her by that. Maybe she had already forgotten about it. That's right, but I was thinking about myself when I said that. Very strange. Could it be that I actually am the sky? I don't think that's possible. Your logic's a bit off somewhere. She looks down and shuts up, and I can see she's quickly going over the deduction mentally, seemingly unhappy with the result she finally arrives at. Yeah, maybe I'm not the sky. Would make sense. I have a hard time knowing what kind of a person I am. You're not the only one. It's like my mind is in some other place than the rest of me. Underwater. Yeah, I wonder how it got there. I have no answer, so a brief silence falls between us for a moment. I shift my gaze back to the sky above us. The last time I really paid much attention to the sky was... I guess it must have been at the hospital. I could only see a thin strip of sky from the window of my room. If I walked up to the windows and pressed my face against the cold glass, the strip became bigger, but not by much. That sky made me feel sad and lonely, a reminder of the world on the other side. I wonder if there's another world beyond the sky we see from up here on the school's roof as well. I can't stop comparing life at Yamaku to my hospitalization, but I really should. I'm not there anymore. The narrow sky from the window of my hospital room, the faces of the doctors, the faces of my parents, the off-white walls everywhere. Iwanako's letter, echoing the words she never said. They're things of the past now. I wish I could forget everything up until now, and that time would stop completely. There would be only me, Rin, and the sky. An eternal lunch break on this rooftop. Perfect, unchanging, and forever. I'm not sure if I like or hate this school. I could have gone to a normal school if I wanted, but I chose to come here. Why? I just decided I would. Kind of like melon or plum jelly. Do you think it was a good idea? I mean, there are a lot of good things about this school, but I think there are a few bad things also. I know. I kind of collect people because they're interesting. People here really are amazing. Most of them, not all. Some people can't take it. They hurt too much. It gets really bad sometimes, you know. They hurt. I wonder if you're like that too. I hope not. I don't like things like that. Hey, I'm not your case study. And I'm not going to give up and die or anything. Anyway, I meant more that this place is too distant from the real world. Oh, and more questions. What's the real world? Everything out there. Real people with normal, everyday lives that fit together like a puzzle. You don't think we aren't like that? Real people? Maybe we aren't. Well, no, we are. I just meant that it feels more like we're the leftover pieces. Oh, like the little spare pieces you get with Lego sets that don't have any place in the instruction manuals. They're just like they're left in the spare bag at the bottom of the box. Rin thinks for a while, her almond-shaped eyes narrowing as she bites her lip a little bit, like a child. Is it hard to be disabled? Her question earns a dry chuckle from me. You tell me. You've been in this business a lot longer than I have. She thinks about that for another while. I don't really feel that disabled. I mean, I do pretty much everything differently, but it's not that hard. I can always practice. I've started to practice food things this year. I think I'd want to learn to cook in a real kitchen someday. That's admirable, but I don't think it's just a state of mind. Maybe not to you. I have no good counter to that, so I concede by falling silent. The situation is making me more and more confused. I know what I want, but don't know how to reach it. Rin seems to believe she can simply will herself into the shape she thinks she needs to be, but can't decide whether she wants to be a bird or a butterfly. I think, in the end, I'm not really that happy with who I am either, but that doesn't mean I regret being who I am. That's the thing that's wrong with you, Hisao. I've only started to process that rather blunt statement before Rin suddenly hugs me. What are you doing? I've never been hugged by a girl with no arms before. To be honest, it doesn't really physically feel like a hug. The awkward way she presses her body against mine and the lack of embracing arms makes it feel like she fell on top of me. But the warmth of a real hug is still there. That's how I recognize it for what it is. I'm hugging you, Hisao. I know that, but... Is it wrong? I thought this is what you're supposed to do, right? No, that's... yeah, that is pretty adorable, especially the... It's one of those things that's kind of like sad and adorable at the same time, but the... Like, that definitely feels like kind of a... like an autistic trait, the... I thought this is what you're supposed to do. Like, she's... like, the hug is a response to kind of like, this is what people do in this situation. It's kind of like a logical... not doing the right thing because, like, you strongly feel like that's... you have, like, that personal drive to do so, just to... I'm not really used to this kind of thing. The first time Emmy hugged me, I got surprised and kicked her in the stomach. I can kick pretty hard, so she hasn't been hugging me an awful lot. Oh. It's not wrong, just... No, it's just me. Things are a bit hard for me. For the time being. I can't seem to react properly to anything. Really? So it is hard being disabled after all? I guess she has me cornered there. I don't have the energy to start arguing against it, but I feel like I have to get something out. Well, No, it's not hard. I think it's just me overthinking things. I really wish I didn't feel so sorry for myself all the time. I wonder if I was always this fragile, or if I became this way after my incident. Nothing had ever truly shaken my world like that before, so there's no telling. Rin presses her cheek against me tightly. I can feel the warmth of her body close against me. Her body temperature feels really high, as if she had absorbed the sunlight into herself and was now sharing it with me. Or perhaps it's a natural state for her. Or maybe she is coming down with a cold and has a bit of a fever. It's the most comforting thing I've felt in a long, long time. Wow, your heartbeat really does sound weird. It's like a drunken percussion orchestra. Oh yeah, she had said that before, wasn't she? That she'd asked if she could just listen to Hisau's heartbeat. Please don't say stuff like that. I get very uncomfortable. I laugh at her comment anyway, in an attempt to ease the tension. It sounds a little bit too forced. I'm sorry I'm such a mess. It's okay. It's the best part of you. You do run cold. I quite like. That was some. It was something I appreciated while you were here. Hearing that doesn't make me happy. She breaks off the hug and settles down. An awkward silence falls upon us like a blanket. Me feeling embarrassed about myself, and Rin trying to arrange her expression to something she likes. One last time I glance upwards. This rooftop is really great. It's like I'm just a little bit closer to the sky. I know a better place, but we can't go on lunch break. I can take you there sometime if you want. The bells ring for the beginning of the afternoon classes, and Rin stands up to make her way downstairs. I don't hurry after her, deciding to stay up here for just a little while longer. Thanks for the hug. Thanks for not kicking me. After Rin leaves, I finally let tears roll down my cheeks and cry for my condition for the first and only time in my life. This is something I kind of appreciate as well. And I wonder, like, part of me wants to assume that the other routes are going to be like this, but the routes seem to be more than just pursuing a different girl each time, but also seeing a different Hisao, like dealing with like a bit of a different problem. Because like Hisao definitely, like there were some moments where he kind of like wrestled a bit with his condition in Emi's route, but like nothing. We had nothing like this that it's like constantly come up. Then I cast away that hollow person lying on the hospital bed. Forever. Definitely one route that's all about the pursuit with the ending beat. Now, I'm guessing I'm not going to hear that. You're not going to tell me which one. Okay. But that feels like a pretty... Progress successfully saved. Do you want to know? I'm not sure so much. Save. Yes, I did. Yeah, that feels like a nice place to end this one. Okay, but yeah, I'm quite enjoying this so far. I'm quite looking forward to Wednesday now. See what's next in Rinsroot. But yeah, tomorrow I'll be back in Monster Hunter Rise. And I'll be back on Thursday as well on that. Friday is going to be... I'll be back with you, Minnie, for starting to Stormblood in our Walk in Light. So I have to say, like, I'm definitely looking forward to Wednesday. I get the feeling that next stream will probably, with the way things are going, I feel next stream will be when, like, things start getting romantic between Rin and Hisao. Like, after that scene on the roof, I kind of feel that... Because I remember I remember with Emmy, it definitely didn't take as long as I thought it would for, like, the relationship to actually begin. Oh, but yeah. I'm looking forward to that. But, for now, I think I need to be getting going. I've got some laundry to do. I should probably have a quick meal. And I do have to get some sleep tonight. But yeah. So, for today, I'll just thank you for coming along. I do hope you enjoyed. And until the next time I see you, I hope you have a good day, have a good evening, and goodbye.